So we're going to tie a Borden special right now, developed by our very own Bob Borden of Hairline Dubbin. What do you use this for? Sea-run cutthroat? It's resident trout. It catches steelhead. And I'm going to, the point of tying this is partly the fly itself, but it's partly the use of the materials. So we're going to use, and I should have gotten these out beforehand, but we're going to use some schlappen feathers. And one of the fun things about schlappen is sorting it to find the hackles that are appropriate to the size of fly you're going to tie. This is a nice long feather, but it's got a lot of fibers I'm not going to use. So I'm going to get some yellow here, and so to do the tail, I'm going to get a few of these fibers, these long fibers. I threw away some of the best ones because it's really early in the morning. And I'm going to tie on a little bit of yellow there. And then I'm going to grab some hot pink. Bob developed this fly years ago. I fish a variation of this fly, and people ask me, Jay, what are you trying to imitate with this fly? I'm saying this fly is designed to imitate a pink rooster tail because sea-run cutthroat like to eat pink rooster tails. So we've got a yellow and pink. Yellows are great, pinks are great. I tie in a little bit of Lagerton oval tinsel. This is the small size. And then I'm going to dub a little body of the, this is Hairline Dubbin. It's great wet fly dubbing material. It's domesticated rabbit. It's really easy to work with. Great color combinations. We're going to do a different demo on how to spin dubbing. This happens to be a fairly slick way of doing it with a rotary vise, but you can do this by hand as well. So now I'm going to put this body on, and if I do this right, which I don't always, it'll be a little bit thicker in the front and a little bit slimmer in the rear. And then I'm going to wind on the tinsel. I really like the oval tinsel. This is varnished. I like it better than Mylar. Mylar works fine. Once the fish start chewing on it, the Mylar often gets torn up. So, time for a wing here. Now I really like to use the Arctic Fox tails. You get, this is about a half or 2/3 of a tail. Shorter fur at the top of the tail, longer fur at the base. Another substitute is, this is Arctic Fox, it's body fur. It works.
The body's going to be a little shorter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so when I say something like it works, that's a diplomatic way of saying it wouldn't be my item of choice. This is the Yoomer Arctic Fox tail. This is every bit the quality that this is. It's a whiter color. So if you want white, I would go with this product. My preference is, and this really is personal preference, so this guy say, this is top notch. This one, if you use it, you have to, this is my preference.
It's got kind of almost a polar bear sheen to it, is what I like about it.
It does. It's kind of a creamy white. So I snip off a chunk of that, and so here's the trick. You've got a lot of fibers in here that are too long. you pull out a lot of those guard hairs, and you know, I used to angst over, oh, I gotta use every fiber, but you really don't, and your fly is not as good if you do. So you get those guard hairs out of there, and then you got too much stuff, too much under fur, so you pull that out. Otherwise you have too much bulk. You want not too much, not too little, just the right amount of bulk in this fly. And you want this fly to breathe. This wing will breathe. It's very nice. And you notice with some flies you put a wing on after your hackle. With the Borden Special you put your wing on first. And I'm going to say right up front that in the interest of time, my wing is a little bit too long there. So this fly isn't going to come out with quite the proportions I would like. And I should have brought my body forward a little bit further, but this is a demo, you know.
I doubt a cutthroat would eat it now that you've done that.
Oh, no. So, you got two different colors of hackle, but you wind the yellow on first. And I have, this is about the amount of hackle I'm going to use. And I'm tying this in by the tip. And I'm going to fold this hackle by running my scissors gently along the top of the feather against those barbules and along the bottom. And this feather is long enough that I can just hang on to it, and I get a stray fiber or so along the way.
We did something on folding hackle, but what that's really doing is facilitating that hackle laying back nicely.
That's correct. And I've probably got enough yellow there. And the fish are going to see the yellow. They won't just see the yellow from the back. They'll see the yellow and the pink. So I want to grab a nice pink hackle here, and this looks like a really good one. And for sea-run cutthroat flies, you're looking for pulsation and movement and flowiness. So the schlappen really works well for that. That's if you use a strung a strung saddle hackle, you're looking for the webbiest. If you go to a dyed over white, the fun thing about these demos is that if something can go wrong, it's gonna go wrong. Anyway, if you're using if you want webby hackle, you want hackle that will breathe in the water. If you have a stiff dry fly hackle, you'll catch some fish, but it's not, the fly is not going to perform the way you want it to. So I'm winding on the pink now, and you see how that's laying back, partly because of the quality of the characteristics of the feather, and partly because of the way that I've folded it. And I can't believe how lucky I got. I thought I left too much room at the head of this fly, but it seems to be a stray fiber there. This seems to have come out better than I could possibly have hoped for. So you see the overall impression of this is pinkish, yellowish. It's got a nice fuzzy body. It's got that the white Arctic fox. This fly would fish very well without the white Arctic fox, but it's harder for you to see it in the water. And when you're stripping this, think about this in the water. It's coming across. You want to be able to see that fly, because when Mr. Cutthroat comes up and eats it, you want to be able to set the hook before he spits it out. So there you have a Borden Special.